Yeah, thank you very much. Welcome everyone. Good night. Well, first of all, it's important that we understand that these games sometimes we can unwrap them very quickly, and after second goal, probably the energy of the opponent drops, and then the game can go up to more goals. When we don't do it, we are always feeding the opponent, and there's still expectations, and the expectations on these teams are always very high. We've been playing regularly friendly matches against teams that are from the lower division below us, and most of the times not easy to play them, not easy. Obviously, that as much we take the games to the limit on everything we do, the best. And that was the message from the very beginning, since I spoke to you guys 2 days ago in the press conference, and the messages we put it in the locker room very clearly in terms of how we had to approach the game. And I think obviously that the attitude was towards that direction. Obviously that when we build a team and we bring players that have not been playing for some time and we mix everything, we cannot expect that the fluidity will be perfect. What we have to expect is that the attitude is always maximum. And I think that there was intention from everybody to do well. Besides here and then, the things were not as fluid as we wanted. Anyway, I think that at halftime the result is very unfair. I think we could have perfectly scored a second goal and make the game become obviously more simple. But it's important that we understand what kind, and I always speak, and I speak indeed a lot about values and how we stand for each other. And I also learn that it's that the way we should live here in South Africa. It's very important that we show that we are on the side of everybody. And I had to show that I'm on the side of my boys. And my message at halftime was, no one in this locker room relates with the mistakes from anyone. So we had to look forward, we had to build the attitude. Of course, we had to bring new energy. I knew that we had players to bring energy and to have quality, to keep the quality inside the pitch. That's what we did, and we could have finished the game, obviously, in a more simple way regarding making a more expressive results. And then comes that question that you spoke with me on the press conference before the match. This team, when is by one goal difference in the last minutes, always has some tendency to back a little bit instead of controlling the game. But I think we did beautiful things. Both goals are wonderful. We had more situations to score. There are very interesting conclusions to take from the match. And also a conclusion that everybody needs to work very hard so that when the opportunities appear, to give a positive answer. So happy in general with the boys and looking for what we have ahead, of course, in the competition. It's always one step ahead, several more to give, but this one is done.
Thank you, Coach. We'll take questions from the floor. Start with Tsepang.
Coach Tsepang from Sokhala Duma. I want to ask you about two players. Tsiki, first of all, he was there in the first half, but I just want to look at his time at Sundowns so far. What do you make of his time here? And it's, you know, when you're on loan, sometimes maybe there's that pressure to impress so that maybe they can keep you for longer. How have things been for him? And you played Batusi Obas on the right today. What was the thinking behind that?
What was the coach thinking? He's crazy. No, not really. Not really crazy. It's something that we already trained several times, and I think he didn't do bad. The question is how you give him balls. If you paid attention around 25th or a little bit maybe even later than that, we inverted Albas in the middle and we opened the Kutluan on the right so that we could get more fluidity, and we jumped a little bit Pizzo more in the front. Obviously that I don't expect from Albas to be a one against one fullback like Tapelo can do. But I expect that the team can change flank very quickly and give him balls to put in the front and cross. And you saw how many crosses he gave, or service in the box. What happened was that, and if you go back on the game, and I did it already after the match with the players, we saw a couple of images. That's why it took me longer to come on the press conference, where we didn't put the numbers we had to put on the box to finalize properly those actions mostly from the right. Because when we arrived on the left, Aubrey is a player that will combine, and if we enter on the box to serve the box, it's by combination. But on the right, the ball entered Albas in the front and service. We had to put numbers on the box, so there were not numbers enough. But he did quite well. And sometimes when a coach takes a player out, it's not because he's bad. And I told him, look, nothing to point. I ask if something that is not even comfortable for you, and you did well. And then I put him inside because I wanted more 1-against-1 that obviously Kutluano can give. And obviously from that action we scored. So I think we did well anyway. Regarding Tsiki, regarding Mali, regarding Kutluano, regarding the players that have not played so much in the last, despite Kutluano has been almost always on the list of the match. What I expect on these moments is that the team understands that there are players that need to be helped, protected. So it's not exposing a player to a match, it's asking the team, guys, let's make a very strong match so that the players that are put inside, they don't take the responsibility of us not doing the job, because it seems now that it was them that were not doing the job, but not at all. So I just changed because I needed, obviously, you know that Artur didn't play last match, so I wanted Artur to have some volume of game today. It was already planned, and we needed energy. It was 1-0, 1-1, and I didn't want to take the match for extra time, of course. So I was even about to make more substitutions to bring more energy, because we wanted to make 2 halves and finish. It was very important, as you might imagine, a team that comes from playing Champions League and goes for Champions League with trips that, as the one we did to Rwanda, that it seems like a 3-hour trip, but it's not. It's a trip where we departed from Kharkov at 2 o'clock. We had to wait for a delay because of a delay of the flight, 3 hours. Then we had to stop in not Botswana, Zimbabwe, to change people, enter inside. We had 1 hour on the airport. We arrive, we have to wait for the luggage. We wait 1 hour for the luggage. We have a bus to take and we had dinner, and we finished to go to the rooms, the place at 1 o'clock in the morning. And in the fall, coming from Sekukune and arriving here at 3 o'clock in the morning, and the day after have all this aggression. So it's the coach really needs to manage all this. This is sometimes the information that the fans don't have, that people think that it's spontaneous. We just arrive here and then we arrive in Rwanda and nothing happened. No, it's not that. There's a lot of volume of things happening, a lot of emotional questions around, of course, as you imagine, but a very good attitude, in general. Today pretty happy. I think the boys understood the message. They gathered themselves around each other, and I think we did what we had to do. Of course, that most important is done. I told them that we had 10 objectives for today. 9 of them was win. But then on the 10th, it was my question. I wanted to manage some things that unfortunately we do 1-1 at halftime. I didn't do exactly as I wanted. But no problem. We will continue and look forward in the way that we have to do, and prepare, of course, the next match. So nothing wrong with Tsiki. Tsiki is a player that has no problems. There are no issues with Tsiki. He works normally. By the way, he made a very nice pre-season. Now on the second half of the season, when he arrived, he had difficulties to understand a little bit what we wanted from him. But the problem is not Tsiki. The problem is the ones that also play on the positions where Tsiki plays. And there are obviously more players that play there. When there's a squad with 38 players, there will be always 3, 4, 5 that don't play so much, guys. And as much as they work, and it's not a Tsiki question, there are others, there will always be someone that will not have the same game time or so much game time. And then if we're gonna point the fingers to those ones, it's normal. There's no issues with him and no one else. They work, and himself, he's a very professional player, a very good boy. I embraced him so much today at halftime, and I obliged him to raise the head and come to the bench as a man and as a high quality player, because he's obviously a quality player, no doubts.
Good evening, Coach Nick Leeson for Backpage Media. You said after the first leg here at Loftus against Al Hilal that you guys have struggled against low blocks, and you're a team that struggles to break those low blocks down. I mean, we saw Komoro set up in that low block from very early, and especially in the first 20 minutes, 25 minutes of the game, you guys were kind of forced to shoot from distance. Do you think that's an issue that's persisting for you guys?
Look, I don't really think so. I think obviously that when we play against teams that have low blocks, you rely on the speed of the ball circulation in order to take the ball as quick as possible to the spaces that are available. And I think sometimes and today it happened, we were not that quick. If you would go back and see our second goal, is absolutely amazing. The ball starts from a fall on the half right, let's say, of the pitch. The ball goes on the right, comes to the left, goes on Tashrik deep, comes out again, and there's the dink then from Jayden on the right side for Tapelo to score. And this is the kind of game that you need to move those blocks, take them out, left, right, sometimes push them, drop numbers to push them, then to go again. But obviously something that we need to continue to work on. But most of all, we need to go inside the pitch and have that mindset. I think you saw me many times make it like this. When I make like this, is exactly that. Put the ball one side to the other, one side to the other, so that we move them, we get them tired, and finally, for sure, there will be moments where then the individual quality needs to appear, one against one combination, one shot. That you saw how Jayden put this ball for that dink. I remember, I think it was Nuno one match here that also, or Miguel, that also made the dink for a fantastic goal. But it's beautiful because those things are things we work. How to break the lines, how to find solutions. Of course, you need to be committed with that attitude permanently, and more we need to be resilient, knowing that sometimes against low blocks we're going to lose balls. And how is our rest defense there in the back? For example, in the match with Hilal, we were not very good on the rest defense. We were far from the guys. We were not capable to be on them, to aggress them. Also, players very powerful, because the opponents also play. But today I think we controlled most of the actions. The team will deal with low blocks in the right way. We need to get them tired until they make mistakes. That's what happened in Sekukune. We persisted, and obviously bringing energy from the bench to continue that aggression permanently until there's a moment of inspiration, or a collective inspiration, or sometimes individual inspiration, and solves the things. That's all is okay.
Coach, it's true. I think first on Kutlwano, where do you think is his best position? Because I think I've seen you play him a bit on the inside, sometimes maybe moving a bit further as a 10, sometimes on the wing. Which one is his best position where you think he can give you more? And then on the second one, coach, I'm looking at this season, maybe even last season, and I'm talking in competition, no preseason, no all this traveling and stuff, just in competition. Do you think you've ever had a period where you can say, in this space, I was happy, the team was doing the things that I want, we were moving in the direction that we want, and if there was such a period, when was it and what was happening in that period?
Look, I think that since I arrived in the club up to the end of last season, the team was started to fly and flew in all competitions. I don't know if you have any idea about the results that we did last year. Do you have an idea?
No, I do, yes.
Okay. So when a team has the results that we had, we just didn't win the final of the Champions League. We made the best season ever in the history of the club, best season ever in the history of the club. I repeat, best season ever in the history of the club in the PSL, because we broke all records. So there's nothing to say. So the team flew throughout the competition, no discussion. And we made the second best ever campaign on the Champions League, because there was only one better than that one, was the one that led to the cup, to the star that we proudly wear in our shirts. But it was the second best ever. Okay, there was another final, so and we made a fantastic World Cup, where I think South Africa didn't understood the level of the game that Sundowns took to the United States, but the world understood. and the team flew. The team flew. Performance on the last. I remember. There was a moment on the championship that we and Pirates were there. The moment we went to Pirates and we lost there. There was a 3-4 points difference. So if in that moment we would lose a match, it would become tricky. And we committed with ourselves the intention of winning all matches up to the end. And I think we made 7 victories in a row in the last part of the championship. We even made a puzzle in the locker room that we used, and every day, every match, we put it a piece with a photo of the club and the piece of the puzzle. We knew that we wanted to do 7 pieces, then finish those games. I think it was 7 or 6. I'm not sure, maybe 6. So the team had fantastic moments, absolutely fantastic moments. So pretty happy.
And what's missing?
You also there's nothing missing. What's missing? There's nothing missing. Absolutely nothing missing. The question is that you expect that the Sundowns will win championships with a 20 points advantage every year. It will not happen. It will not happen. What's missing is that probably people need to trust. And mostly, as you might imagine, I'm saying that our opponents became stronger. It's clear that our opponents became stronger. There's nothing missing. What's missing is trust. Trust and trust. That's normal. If people trust, things will happen normally, because there's a lot of quality in the squad, there's a lot of quality in the coaching staff, there's a lot of quality in the coach, a lot, because I don't see around any coach with the curriculum that I have. I don't see around. But that's what it is. We will not win every day, but believe what is important in this club is not if we fall, is the attitude you show to rise. And that speaks for us, and that's the values we have in this club. So we are together, we are united, we are strong, and we will move forward in the right way. That's what misses. But of course, when people make jokes with the color of the car of the coach, and there's no respect on the integrity of a human being like me, there's a lot of wrong things in this country. And it's important to settle those things, because a few years ago you had someone very important in this country that bought some idea about how to relate, and I found a country that is fantastic on values. I don't think it's proper to joke with the car of the coach or the way coach got out of a press conference, and that is what is missing. Is look at the coach and say, oh, respect, this guy didn't fall from the sky. This guy coached teams that no one ever imagined in South Africa. But just show some respect, and that's it. One day I will go. No one needs to push no one. Just need to take it calmly and let ourselves work. These players deserve a lot of respect. These players deserve a lot of respect. This club deserves a lot of respect. It's a huge club by huge people. This club is so strong, and a lot of respect by the people inside, because we have fantastic people inside the club. And we are together on that. We are together. But look, football is exactly like that. You go to England. Pep Guardiola, 10 years, coach of Manchester City. Do you think he goes through the seasons without problems, without questions, without... You watch his press conferences, one after the other, and you see him fighting and struggling. But because football is like that. Football is like that. It turns around very quickly, and but it just turns around for the strong ones. They are the weaker ones don't turn around the chess table, but the strong ones they turn it around, and that's it. Just everything is okay and good.
Can you skip the other one's cap and then just go through
Coach, I'm sure you must have won something a bit different. You must have been following what
It's better.
You must have been following what was happening last night in Durban with Pirates. I just want to check, what's your preference really? Do you prefer to chase, or prefer to set the pace, or you just really have to deal with what is in front
I
of you?
just prefer to win, to think about every match and fight to win on every match, and prepare the matches in the right way. And if we prepare every match in the right way, we are giving our players the tools they need to become better, to face every match and win the matches. So that's what I prefer. I don't even know how was the result from Chiefs with Stellenbosch.
2-1 Stellenbosch.
They lost. 2-1.
Chiefs
2-1
lost.
Stellenbosch, yeah.
You see, so there's your answer.
Thanks, Coach. This is Somaleka from City Press. Congratulations. Just out of interest, Coach, you did say that you play teams from lower divisions. I don't know how frequent is that. You also played 2 teams in the Nedbank Cup last season from the lower divisions. From your assessment or analysis, how do you find the gap between second and third tier in sport?
This is a beautiful question. This is a positive question. This is the right mindset that people have to have. Don't look the problems or the dark side of the moon, but look the bright side of the moon, because there's so many beautiful things in South Africa, so many right ways to have the proper attitude towards the things. This helps to develop the game, and I think that it's also important that we understand that we should do more, everybody, regarding the development of the game in South Africa than we really do. Remember, I speak a lot about the conditions where matches are played. You or some of you just saw the AFCON. How many pitches were not watered in the AFCON? How many? Tell me. How many pitches were not watered before the match in the AFCON? How many?
0.
Come on. 0. At halftime, how many were not watered? 0. How was the quality of the grass there? Fantastic. Guys, that is what we need to develop, is create conditions to show that we are part of become better. And you have a very important role on it. Promote the important side of the game, not the things that are not important. You should promote the right side of the game. And that's going back to your question, because indeed, there's a lot of quality. There's a lot of quality in lower divisions. And that's the work that needs to be done. Support the academies, support the youngsters, start developing players younger and younger, year after year. Start creating questions for the girls' football to be stronger. And for that, we need to work from the base, how we can create conditions for that. I'm gonna tell you one thing. A few years ago in Portugal, that we had a lot of pitches without turf, this like bears, like streets. And there was a measure from the government. Up until the 3rd division, everybody must have a synthetic last generation pitch. That gave a huge improvement, a huge upgrade in the football in Portugal. A huge upgrade. Second, all clubs in the 1st division need to have a girls team, so that the football of girls in Portugal developed, and now everybody has. More support with the sharing the rights, the sports rights, the money that is from TV, and with the teams in a different way, in the right way, so that the teams that are weaker can also be provided or increase the conditions to be better. So there are many things that can be done. And look that side of the game, because guys, when the game will become better, for sure we'll sell more the show, for sure everything will go better. When we start to have VAR on the matches, that things will go better, because there will be no suspicious on no one. Because here in South Africa it becomes very interesting that the officials from some teams visit the referees in the morning of the matches. You know that? Yeah, but look for that, because I saw a photo today. It's important we look for this. I never saw that. It's the first time I see officials from one team visiting the referee from their game in the night. That happened recently, very recently, maybe yesterday. And that's what you need to worry about in terms of football. 2nd division, there are a lot of quality players. If we don't stay serious, we get ashamed when we play against these teams, because they are not afraid to play Sundowns, they are not afraid to play no one, because they want to become better. They have the character to develop, to appear, to have a chance. Yes, we do friendly matches very systematically, because you know that we have a big squad, and we need to give conditions for the players to be up to the level to play. And indeed, that happens, and we feel sometimes difficulties. Of course, sometimes we win easy, because we make the first goal, the second one, and the energy drops. But when we don't immediately make the goals, we can have bad time. And it's a good challenge, because also then we put the youngsters with us. We call some players from Diski, the ones we want to check, the ones that are playing well there, so that we mix, and obviously it gets balanced. But it's fantastic. I think there are and good coaches and some good ideas, because I discuss with the coaches. It's something also South Africa needs to invest, the education of the coaches. Demand and create conditions, put the top coaches from South Africa to give classes, and there are so many. And then bring foreigners to bring new experiences, because foreigners are not better than the ones here, are just different. But it's exactly from the diversity that things can go forward. So there's a lot of things to do, because there's quality, there's high quality here, and there's conditions to do better and better and better. So that if then the football here develops, maybe Coach Hugo Bros doesn't need to say that the players should go abroad so that our national team becomes better. Because then the players here, if the level rises, the championship becomes stronger, the competition becomes stronger, the conditions where the players play are better, the game develops, increases, and then also it's more easy to sell players abroad, because they are systematically stimulated in a level that makes them, of course, grow better, and especially younger. Because one of the questions in South Africa regarding putting players in Europe or in other countries is because here, as they don't start to play football so early, a player gets his maturity a little bit older than in Europe. And in Europe, a player with 23, 24, forget, they don't take them, because they want those players to be resold. So they need resold. So they need the players to go with 20, 21 maximum. After that, they don't take, only exceptionally. And that's the work also that needs to be done.
We'll take the last question from Nevin. You have a question? Okay. Yeah, you can ask.
Oh, Coach, just looking ahead at the weekend, you were traveling to Congo to face Lupopo. Just your thoughts on that game?
Tough match ahead for sure. Tough match, tough team on this side, tough players on this side, top attitude, demanded, top attitude we're gonna have. Fight for the best result possible, so that then in the end we can come and be satisfied with the honesty of the work we put in inside the pitch, and hoping that the consequence of that attitude is a positive result to get the best chances possible for the last match. That's how we need to go there and face the things. It's a very particular pitch. The way to play there, quite tricky. I remember, how was the result of Pirates there in the beginning of the season?
3-0.
So we need to learn from the lessons. It's difficult to play there. Hilal drew. MC Alger, what was the result of MC Alger there? They lost. So we need to really have the mindset to play a game like there. You remember last year we played in Congo against Maniema, of course, different stadium, open stadium, not so close, the fans, almost no fans. The difficulty there was obviously Maniema's team and the heat and the humidity. Here there are more factors. It's a very crowded stadium, we packed over the pitch, what brings a lot of emotionality, because you know how it is, any ball, we need a serious approach, an honest approach, and a humble approach, so that in the right moments we can have our moments, score the goals we need, and bring the best result we can. That's very important. I think the boys are up to the challenge and they know what we're gonna face, and it's with that expectations that we go.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you very much.
The team travels on Friday.